Welcome to The Explainer. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? Today, we're looking at one of the absolute greatest, most flawlessly executed bait-and-switch moments in indie gaming history. Seriously, we're talking about that wild, unexpected, and frankly terrifying collision between the slapstick comedy of Henry Stickmin and the sheer survival horror tension of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a crossover that practically broke some of the internet's biggest gaming creators. So buckle up because we're going to break down exactly how this brilliant troll was pulled off.
Here's our survival guide for today's explainer. We'll do a quick recap on the reference itself, then check out the YouTubers who got scared, followed by the ones who didn't get scared. Well, at first anyway. Then we'll look at how they reacted instead, the overall reaction of the meme, and finally, ask if we'll see this FNAF cameo again.
Chapter 1, The Trap is Set. A quick recap on the reference. Taking us all the way back to the 2015 browser classic Fleeing the Complex. What exactly happens when you cross a stick figure with an animatronic bear? If you've played the presumed dead pathway, you probably remember the exact moment you found out. You're desperately trying to escape a maximum security Siberian prison known as the Wall. You're out in the yard, the guards are on super high alert, and boom! You're presented with a choice of where to run.
Now, if you happen to choose the option labeled Building, you stumbled right into Freddy's building, this totally unmarked administrative structure. As soon as Henry shuts the door behind him, the screen pitches into absolute pitch-black darkness. Out of nowhere, a pair of glowing blue eyes and a silhouetted mouth light up the dark, and a music box starts playing the Toreador March. It's a brilliant one-to-one replication of that legendary power outage scene from the original Five Nights at Freddy's.
And the genius of this trap? It works in a very specific sequence. You choose the building, you hit the locked door, and the game gives you a fail screen that just simply reads, "That wasn't scary." Now, normally, what do? You click retry instantly. But if you hesitate, if you just wait for like 5 to 10 seconds of dead silence, bam! A distorted jump scare of Freddy Fazbear fills the screen. Pulling this off rewards you with the Spooked achievement, which basically heavily punishes any player who pauses to read the text.
Chapter 2, The Screams. The YouTubers who got scared.
First up, we've got Jacksepticeye, who was left in total disbelief. What's really fun here is that the developer, PuffballsUnited, actually parodied Jacksepticeye twice in this very game, with the characters Jacksepticeye and the green-haired Sean S.E. Lemming. So Jack was already having a blast, right? But when he hit this room, he yelled, "Are you actually kidding me right now?" And what made it infinitely worse for him was that he was playing the original Flash version. That version had a bug where the jump scare animation looped endlessly until you clicked away. So the bear just kept screaming at him.
Then there's Corey Kenshin, and his reaction was just hyper-animated. The second he realized he walked into a FNAF trap, he started yelling to get out. When the jump scare finally triggered, he was so startled he shouted, "Freddy got bodied," in sheer shock. He actually had to immediately call upon his samurai community to hit the like button just to help him recover from the ambush.
Chapter 3, Unfazed by the Bear. The YouTubers who didn't get scared, at first anyway.
What makes this exact fail text so fascinating is that it wasn't just some random phrase. It was actually a direct meta-critique of the YouTube gaming community at the time. You see, creators like PewDiePie and ProJared were publicly claiming that FNAF jump scares had become predictable, that they'd lost their edge. So, the developer intentionally used this mocking text to lull players into a false sense of security. It's honestly a masterclass in game design and subverting player expectations, literally using their own overconfidence against them.
Which leads us perfectly to Markiplier. Mark is basically the undisputed king of Five Nights at Freddy's Let's Plays, and he's even parodied in this game as Mark Emu, a prisoner locked up for laughing after trying not to. When Mark hit the fail screen, he saw the text and confidently read it out loud to his audience. That wasn't scary at all. He was leaning back, completely relaxed, totally thinking he had beaten the joke.
Chapter 4, Pride Before the Fall. How they reacted instead.
The absolute crucial point here is the comedic timing of that hidden timer. On one hand, you have smug confidence. Because Markiplier paused to boast to his chat about how not scary it was, he triggered that 5 to 10 second timer. But on the other side, absolute, undeniable panic. The delayed screamer caught him so off guard that he completely recoiled in his chair in terror, followed immediately by nervous laughter. The psychological bait and switch worked flawlessly.
And Mark definitely wasn't the only one. Take the frustrated gamer, for example. He was just casually exploring, found the bear, confidently said it wasn't scary, and then got absolutely blasted by the jump scare.
His reaction was so hilarious. He got so flustered by the scare that he immediately stopped the gameplay and plugged his vlog channel just to regain his composure. I mean, it was a total disruption of his focus.
Chapter 5. A community crossing over. The overall reaction of the meme.
Fans loved this so much they actually started designing their own crossover fails, perfectly merging FNF's dark, mechanical lore with Stickmin's classic slapstick humor. One really popular concept was the bunny suit, where Henry wears a yellow springlock suit to hide, but a drop of saliva from a shouting Toppet member triggers a fatal failure. Another idea had Henry trying to use the FNF puppet to distract guards, only for the puppet to literally slap him, resulting in the fail text, "should have asked for consent." It really shows how deeply the fans understood the rules of both worlds.
The crossover also caused this incredible accidental comedy thanks to some semantic confusion. So you have Henry Stickmin, the comedic stick figure, and Henry Emily, the tragic, lore-heavy co-creator of Fazbear Entertainment in the FNAF universe. Because both franchises feature a central character named Henry, fans searching Reddit for funny stick figure fails would frequently stumble into dense, horrifying discussions about Henry Emily trapping souls in robotic animatronics. This semantic mix-up became a massive running joke across both communities.
Chapter 6. Future of the Cameo. Will we see this FNAF Cameo again in the future or not?
So, things had to change a bit when the game went commercial. Back in the 2015 Flash release, it used a very clear sprite and the actual song from FNAF. But for the 2020 Steam remaster in the Henry Stickmin collection, the developer, PuffballsUnited, had to mitigate copyright issues. The sprite was heavily darkened, so it was much harder to see, and they actually recorded a custom royalty-free rendition of the music to replace the original. It's a fascinating look at how indie devs navigate legal standards while preserving their classic jokes.
But you know, this Stickmin reference was just the beginning of a much larger trend. We started seeing independent developers integrating FNAF Easter eggs into entirely different genres to connect with the gaming community. You've got Chica as a guest character in the RPG Creepy Castle. Pizza Tower literally has an animatronic survival level where you defend yourself with a shotgun. Undertale Yellow features the FNAF 1 security desk, and My Singing Monsters has a creature called the Night Bear. Henry Stickmin cementing Freddy into its lore was really part of treating FNAF as a foundational piece of modern gaming history.
And that brings us to our final thought for this explainer. With FNAF solidifying its massive cultural impact, and with indie developers constantly pushing the boundaries of intertextual crossovers, you really have to ask yourself, where will Freddy Fazbear be trapped next? What innocent, unsuspecting game will you be playing when the lights suddenly go out and those glowing blue eyes appear? Stay alert out there, folks, and whatever you do, never hesitate on a fail screen.